What's up, you guys? It's your girl Panache, and welcome to the very first episode of We Brew You Pour. I'm joined today by my co-host Terry, and I'd like him to introduce himself so that you can get to know him.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, this is Terry here. So glad to be the co-host at We Brew You Pour. Exciting journey indeed. And let's see what we have to talk about today, Panache. What do we have to discuss about today?
So I was scrolling on Instagram like what we all do, and I found a very interesting post, and it said, "My cousin left her husband and he keeps accusing her of cheating, but she really left him because he makes twice what she makes and was still insisting on her paying half the bills. She said she'd rather just pay all her bills and not be bothered by him. Good for her." So I found this very interesting because growing up, I've always had this narrative that the man is the provider, the man pays all the bills, the woman just has to be there and make her money. So is the world changing? Are gender roles still applicable in the 21st century? Do men still have to pay for everything, or is 50-50 now an acceptable arrangement? What do you think?
Right, this is a really interesting story. When you was reading it, when we spoke about it, you sent me the photo. I'm like, what? Really, a man is fighting with the wife over a 50-50 split over rates and rentals? Man, that's probably insane when you're listening to it from an outside point of view. But coming back to it, you need to consider on how they probably started it. Maybe their relationship was based on, you know what, no matter what happens, we are on a 50-50 basis. Meaning to say, no matter how much I earn, no matter how much she earns, still it's going to be a 50-50 scenario. But let's come to this situation. If there was any problem that could have occurred between the two, I personally believe the wife could have just gone to him and tell him, you know what, I don't think the 50-50 thing is working since I'm earning this much, and I don't think I can work with this. So why can't we go to maybe, let's say, 60-40, or maybe 30-70, or maybe you just do the stuff as a man? I think that's the thing that we're supposed to discuss about, man. What do you think?
That definitely sounds like a conversation, but the post says that he kept on insisting that she pays half the bills. And I actually discovered that gender roles began way back in the industrial times where men used to be the ones to do all the heavy lifting, the labor, because it was more farming in those days. So a man's physical strength was considered as the important thing. So men used to work, they used to earn all the money, and then women are the ones who used to take care of the kids because, well, women are the only ones who can give birth. As for now, science is changing. But speaking for today, I think it's very interesting that women can now work. So are we changing how things should operate? Because a woman is now making income. And I believe that it's a conversation that people need to have, especially right now. Because if the man is insisting she pays half of the bills and he makes more, that sounds like a lot because she obviously can't manage to live the same lifestyle that they're living now while paying half the bills. So I think this is something that we should be talking about right now.
Yeah, that's really true, Panaj. That's really, really true, and it's something that's happening within. I mean, the change is happening through time. You know, I was thinking of. I'm gonna take us back, maybe biblically, when God created men and women. There's a lady there who was doing what she was doing in the garden and whatnot, and the perception is men was after the man was cursed. The perception was, or rather, the belief is that the men would tilt the ground, like what you said. So what happens was mainly the men would do the labor work, and the women would come maybe to help during the reaping season and help prepare the meals and whatnot. So already there was a difference between what men should do and what women should do. So already it was a split. So men, because physically, yes, speaking of strength, yes, and women, yeah, on the other side. So I want us to go back to something. So, what is really gender roles? What is it all about? What do you feel about it? What is gender roles?
So, gender roles are described as the expectations that society has on women and men on how they should speak, dress, groom, conduct themselves based on their gender. So, this includes gender roles on personality traits, domestic behaviors such as women cooking, men taking care of finances and working on the car, doing all the home repairs. There's also gender roles on occupations, and that's sort of the reason why women are always expected to be the ones who are nurses, while men are told to be doctors and engineers. And last of all, on physical appearances. So, way back, women couldn't wear jeans, but that's now changing. But it's more like hairstyles and just dressing and makeup, different expectations that are set. So, that's what gender roles are.
Yeah, you're right there. So basically, for example, women and girls generally are expected to dress in a typical feminine way and a polite way, according to the nurturing, like what she said. So already the community, or rather the expectation made or created, was for women and men to behave in a certain way. But coming to this topic and this Instagram post that you just read, do you think that whatever society contributes, it has to happen in someone's house? A marriage couple or people staying together, that what the society think about them, does it really matter?
I would say definitely no, because it's a discussion. You apply what works for you. You don't have to apply what society wants if it's not working on you. For example, some women are probably better at finances than the men. So she should do the finances instead of the man cracking his head forgetting to pay the rentals. That's just not efficiency. So do what is efficient for you, do what works for you instead of following what society tries to place upon you. But I also believe that for some men, not behaving according to society's standards would be like a challenge on their manhood. It's like, am I still a man if I'm not the one doing the finances? Am I still a man if I'm a stay at home dad? Am I still a man if I'm not the one earning more? Like it sort of doesn't make sense, but because society has drummed it in our heads, it sort of ends up coming across that way. But you're a man. Would you ever feel like your manhood is challenged if you're not, quote unquote, behaving according to what society describes as a man?
Good question directed to me personally. I don't think I would feel like I'm a less of a man just because my wife that earns more than me, or I am found doing things that are totally believed to be women like. Okay, I don't think that makes me less of a man. Do you think that I'm gonna feel less of a man because she earns more? Generally speaking, okay, I'm gonna bring it back. Generally speaking, nevertheless, in many modern societies now, there is no need for traditional gender roles because both men and women are able to do many things that are, or rather, necessary tasks to go through the day. Thereby, making gender specification behavior is totally irrelevant. That's what I think.
To be honest, to me, it sounds like a good thing. If someone is making more, like you should be supporting it to make more because that means more money for the family in general. I believe it's more about we are codependent on each other. It's not like you're independent, two different people doing two different things. However, in today's society, does a man still have to pay for all the dates just because he's the man and he's the one who should be paying for everything? Or have things changed? Can dates be now 50-50? Is it an equal contribution to dates?
I think that's a really more than interesting topic right there. Before we get to a married couple when the wife is earning more than the husband. But let's say dating. Okay, generally, as a man or as me, I would have pressure to impress that I am capable of. Right? So each time we're gonna go out on a movie, I'm just probably gonna put it on myself. But does it make me weak if I then open up? Because let's say people are dating already, they're together, right? And then when they say, oh, you know what, the movie's gonna go for $10, why can't we split? Not really 50-50, but I've got $7, so maybe you can bring three. And yeah, what do you think about? And one of the two be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the snacks, so you can do the tickets. What do you think? I feel like it's also still is very much okay to just say, because the truth of the matter is, since you guys are dating, some people are even open enough to talk about maybe sparingly their financial situation. So I'm like, oh, I earn this much, but yeah, I still gotta take care of A, B, C, D. So our outings are really, or dates are actually limited to this certain amount. So what do you think? But you still want to go to a movie and you still want to be man enough. Would that make me less of a man if I then ask and tell her, you know what, I've got $7, the movie is $10. Could you chip in with about $3?
So I was actually raised weirdly. So I was sort of raised to be independent. I was sort of raised not to depend on a man. So growing up, I would always pay for my own things. So if we went on a date and I want to go for a movie, I would always insist, oh, let me pay half of this, because I never want someone to feel like I owe them something. But I also think that a lot of people would say that if you can't afford to pay for a date, or if you can't afford to pay for a dinner, then why are you even dating that person? Because you clearly can't afford to be going there in life. So I think that's a dangerous perspective, because I think number one, we should be understanding of each other's situations, but also as a woman, if you're earning something, then treat your man, contribute to the relationship, contribute to what's going on. In that way, things are so much easier because it doesn't feel one sided. And that includes financial stuff, which is probably really hard to hear. But most importantly, people say that women are now choosing when to apply gender roles. So sometimes women be like, I want to be independent. Other times women be like, I want you to open doors for me. I want you to pay for everything. And some men on the internet are feeling confused. Are you ever confused by this? Does it sort of make sense? Do you think women are asking for too much, or they don't really know what they want right now out of a relationship because of what society is just putting in our heads?
I feel like the society has really contributed much into our everyday life. I think there's a saying that said, I see, I remember, I hear, I understand. So whatever we hear, we definitely understand it, and it probably plants something in our heads. Whatever we see, it's something that is stuck in our heads. We remember it. So when we see someone doing a certain way, or someone goes out with their guy and the guy is opening their car doors, the guy is taking them to the most expensive restaurants and whatnot, those are really great things, and because the guy can, he will do it. But then when it comes to the other guy, let's say a guy who does not have as much but still wants to take you out, or wants to take you to a medium restaurant, wants to take you maybe to a medium restaurant, which is not that wow, which is not that bad, that's what the guy can do. But because of the society pressure, are we going to fold in and budge in and say, yes, I'm going to follow what the society wants, or I'm just going to stand up and being me? Even if the same message goes back to the society and say, oh, I went out with my dude, he never opens my car door, or he took me to some moderate restaurant, will that image goes out as nice? So now that points out to the reason why she's with me, or why I'm with her. If you guys really want to build a future and you know the really, 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 the situation on the ground, I'm pretty sure people could actually settle for what's there. But the things like opening your car door for your woman, those are the things that men can actually do. I don't think you need to pay money for that. I don't think you need to do anything much for it. You can do it. If you can open door. That's a sweet gesture. But I don't think that has to be a demand. Oh, that reminds me of that post that I showed you that was posted again on Instagram, where a lady be like, where are those men who used to open who open car doors for women. Where are those men? How do you even go through the date? And the guy's like, how do you think I get in the car? Yeah, I open my own door. Like he literally believes he opened his own door. But then yeah, when some guy feels like, oh, this gesture means a lot to her and does it, I think it's actually appreciated. But it doesn't have to be wrong when a guy probably forgets to open the car door. Oh, remember, he come to pick you, you're just walking to the car. Oh, so it literally has to park the car, get out of the car, open the door for you so you can get in. I don't know the situation, man. It's a 50-50 feel. You can do it for your woman. You can make her happy if she really likes it. Man, there's nothing wrong by doing it. That's what I think.
I totally agree. Do what makes thee happy. I think that it's important to realize that there might not be certain code gender roles, but I also believe in roles and responsibilities because it helps set the expectations that you're both working towards. So, for example, in one season, you might be coached to be the one who's staying at home, taking care of the kids, and all of that. And in another season, the man might be transitioning from one job to another. So he'll be the stay at home dad who's taking care of the kids, cooking. Doesn't make him less of a man. Changing diapers. It is still a good thing. So I believe that it all depends with the season, it depends with your agreement, and also just not living your life according to society's thoughts, but living it according to what makes you happy, both of you. So I believe that we're all on the same team, we're helping each other. Women are the helpmates, so working together. And if one person is better skilled at cleaning, maybe, and they have time, and maybe they'll do the cleaning while the other one does something else, as long as it works for both of you and makes you happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what do you think?
There's a thing that I think there's a movie that I once watched of a lady who was trying to establish a business, and the husband decided to stay home and do the whole chores and stay with the kids and all, right? But then, to be honest, the way the wife treats the men determines how the man is going to respond back to it. So if the man still is being treated as the head of the house, as the man of the house, regardless of of his financial situation, then I pretty much feel like everything will be okay. You realize that everything will be fine. I know me as a man, I definitely want to have money in my pocket always. I want to be that man who is a provider all the time. But let's say the situation is not really on my side supporting me to have money in my pocket. Am I just gonna sit and feel like, oh no, you know what, it doesn't make me manly enough? No, it doesn't. She is earning more, I'm in a transition, or even she's earning more because her career is way better than mine, doesn't make her the man of the house. I'm still the man of the house. So being the man of the house just means I'm the head of the house. That's how the hierarchy was made by God. So it's just gonna stay like that regardless of finance. That's my thinking.
That sounds great. I think this has been a great conversation. What do you guys think? Please get back to us. You can use our Google platform where you can answer questions that we have, give us feedback, and it can be anonymous so we never know it's you. You can remain confidential. And in the next episode, we might read a few responses just to sort of discuss the feedback that we get. But we want to hear from you, and please follow us on Apple Podcasts, give us ratings on Spotify, and just listen to us and continue to follow us on our journey. Also, please suggest topics that we can talk about next time. Thank you and have a good day. Love you always.